Hello, everyone, and welcome to our podcast, Relation Cast, where we talk about life, relationships, and how it's all connected to the Catholic teachings. Today, we are going to be diving into social relationships, primary, secondary, and everything in between. I'm your host, Sam Cordova, joined by my fellow co hosts. Please introduce yourselves.
I'm Prince Gadista. The some of what I usually do in a daily basis is related, all of it, some of it in technical production, and I'm part of a lot of concerts, both locally and internationally, which is a big fact when I'm also part of a lot of orgs here in Zabel and others.
I'm John Canlas. To, to sum up what I do or what I am, I just play golf and I'm interested in fashion and fragrances.
And I'm Lance Oy, and I'm a student at LaSalle.
Okay, good job, guys. Today's topic seems exciting because let's be for real, guys. Relationship shapes everything. As teens, friends and family, crushes, even that classmate you only really talk to during group projects. But what to do with these connections mean? And how do we live them out with purpose? Well, stick around to find out. To church. The church also has some wisdom to offer to help navigate these relationships. So let's get started.
So, what is social relationships? Social relationships is the connections, relationships, and interactions that individuals have in their life. Social relationships fall into three categories: primary, which is the close and long term bonds; secondary, which are the goal oriented, like classmates; and lastly, others, which are family acquaintances.
The three types of social relationships are as follows: primary, secondary, and others. Guys, this is too structured, but okay. Can you share examples of each type of your own? Like, who's your primary relationship?
Uh, I'd say for my primary, I'd consider my family as my primary relationships. Um, I guess for my secondary, I'd consider most of my classmates and some of my golf teammates as my secondary. Um, my secondary relationships, and I feel like my for the others, I consider my coaches as my acquaintances. So yeah. So Sam, why do you think categorizing relationships is important?
Because I don't know. So you can know what their purpose in your life is. Like primary relationships is like family wherein you interact with them on a daily basis and they like never really leave your life. Like
Okay.
they're
Ooh,
like
okay.
foundational to you,
Alright.
like how you form as a person. Secondary is more like they only serve a purpose in one part of your life. Like let's say a classroom. Like they only serve you in class. But sometimes it can turn into primary, like you, John.
Hey.
Yeah.
It branches out than just like a in the classroom, you know.
Okay,
And then
that's
so so why is this important? It's because so you can gauge where who people you keep around.
okay. Do you think it helps us to treat people differently, or is it the same throughout every
I
single?
think Lance answers this.
Well, yeah, it helps you know how much energy you should be putting. Like for example, in primary, that's mainly people that you're going to always meet. That's family. You always have to give all your energy to family because of course family is the most important thing in life.
Like Vin Diesel.
Yes, exactly.
What did Vin Diesel say?
But it,
Family.
Family first.
family first.
So I think
Yeah.
it's now time for Magsino. Please give us your insights on family. I think you're so right, Samuel. I think let's hear from Prince now.
Yes, I agree with that. Family first, right?
Mm, I'm not sure about that, Prince, but it's okay. So, how do you think primary relationships shape who we are compared to secondary ones?
Um, if I could answer that, I feel like primary relationships like family and loved ones have a bigger influence in how we um, decide certain decisions because you have the sense of understanding that they know you more than other people. Um, so I feel like they have a bigger impact in our overall character because we surround ourselves the most with them. And like to give a really good example of that, as mentioned by one of our teachers in personal development, Miss C, um, a child's mind at an early stage is like a blank slate. So
Tabula rasa.
exactly.
Tabula rasa.
So how it how that slate becomes not empty or has something filled in it is based on what that person surrounds themselves with. And most of the time, it's their family, so primary relationships related. So in comparison to secondary ones, I feel like they won't really have a big impact on the long term, but they will maybe change our viewpoints on the short term.
Yeah, like how they influence your decisions on small things.
Yeah,
Or like decisions within that environment.
yeah, like partying or like going out late. I feel like those are influences guided by secondary relationships rather
like
than primary.
The people who reprimand you for your bad behavior would be
Primary.
They help you keep your values.
Exactly.
yeah.
Yeah.
So, what are your values, Prince?
The values that I follow is somehow related to my family, of course, and the cultural aspect of what my family follows, and religious aspects, something like that. Yeah.
That's some good ass value, Prince.
All right, let's move on to how can we relate these relationships as teens. So, what are the kinds of relationships and like what are the challenges of maintaining these relationships?
I think I feel like I could answer this. I feel like as teenagers we're naturally curious because we don't have the
Yeah,
opportunity.
that's right.
We haven't had the opportunity to live out life yet,
Yeah.
and so I think naturally the difference the hardest part of maintaining a friendship is staying committed to that friendship. Since we're so curious and trying to
Branch out.
we tend to branch out to different friendships and different relationships to kind of ease that curiosity. And but I feel like it's easier to maintain family relationships as they're the only constant in your life.
Yeah, like no matter how where you go, they're still there.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and
How
like
hard it gets.
what I notice about teen relationships is like they always change. Because as a teenager, you grow up and you like soak in different types of things. And as you grow, you like adapt to different environments. So, yeah, you're right. I think the primary relationships are really important. Can you relate to this, Nance?
Yeah.
What do you mean, yeah, bro?
Well, let's ask Maxino if he's ever felt lonely in a crowd of followers or acquaintances. And why does that happen?
Real.
Mm,
That's a good point.
We have 5 more minutes.
Okay, so how does social media blur the lines between primary and secondary and other relationships?
I mean, based on my opinion, I feel like social media loves to romanticize things that aren't supposed to be romanticized. So what that means is, I think sometimes social media um, makes secondary relationships look
Like their primary.
like they're primary,
Yeah.
and I think it does blur the line on whether or not that relationship is primary or secondary because of how social media,
Makes you connected all the time.
yeah, makes you connected all the time.
It's like
Yeah.
just
Bridges
because
the
you
gap.
always like talk doesn't mean you're always there for each other.
So true.
Have you ever felt lonely in a crowd of followers?
Yeah, I feel like okay. I feel like I have. I feel like I can relate to these questions
Why?
since as a new student of Zubel, coming from a very different culture,
Yeah.
it did feel a bit lonely coming into the school where, there were different norms and a different culture within the people. So it was definitely a bit lonely, but I feel like that's because it's something that we haven't been exposed to yet. I feel that's why it happened.
Do you think you overcame this challenge?
I feel like I did, because I'm naturally a very outgoing person. I'm a very talkative person, as people from my class would agree.
Yeah.
So I feel that's one of the reasons I overcame it, just by being myself. I feel like the importance in this is not forcing any connections, and by understanding that the people who are meant to be with you will come to you by just acting the way you are.
What do you mean by not forcing connections? Like,
Um, what I mean by not forcing connections is just changing yourself to satisfy other people. To the point where the way you're acting isn't you anymore.
it's sure like to
It's-
please other people.
Yeah, it's to please other people.
It's to be relatable.
Um, so, going back, for you, what's a relatable situation where, balancing different relationships felt overwhelming? Like, example, like, a drama with a friend, or, a group project stress, like kick.
Yeah. I think balancing relationships felt overwhelming because when you have like too many friends
True.
and like they don't like each other, so you're trying to work your way around them. I think it's like going back to what you said. It's like you sometimes you have so much friends that you kind of change yourself because if this one person don't like the other person, you gotta act like neutral to favor both of them.
There's max time to work.
I think we should move on to
Catholical
Catholic
values.
values.
Do you guys have any verses that you can relate to this topic?
I think Lance, you can do this one.
Okay, so for me, a verse that I think I can relate to this topic would be, is that to love one another as I have loved you, which comes from John 13:34. And from there,
Me?
That's you, John?
yeah, I think
Yeah,
John should explain it because this is his verse.
Nah, but it's your turn.
Yeah, it's your turn.
How can Catholic teachings
you gotta
guide
open
us
up.
in modern relationships?
Okay, so of course, Catholic teachings, they always teach us to love one another because we are all, God's creations. And we're all family. We came from the same persons. No, I mean the ancestors. Hey, okay, our ancestors.
person?
No.
I think a better way to describe that is
Yeah.
we came from one God.
Oh,
That's-
How would you interpret that, Lance?
is that we have one religion, one God.
So, what is your key message? What's your core takeaway?
For me,
Yeah.
For me, it's to always be yourself and to not, change for other people.
Yeah, I think what John said really stuck to me. Like, when you're facing hard balancing and you're feeling overwhelmed with relationships, just be yourself.
Yeah, I agree.
So, what's one relationship you want to strengthen and how will you start?
I feel like low key. I think something that I genuinely struggle with is my romantic relationships.
Oh, that's it.
Yeah, mostly just that.
Okay. How about you and Bagsina and Prince?
I would strengthen my relationship with my family since I'm working also as a working student, and I often miss out on the happenings in my family, and I want to strengthen that and make it a priority.
That's good. That's good. So, guys, just remember, just be yourself, and it's okay to not be okay. Thank you for listening to
Bye-bye.
Nation Cast. Goodbye.
Goodbye.